Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Empowerment with Elizabeth. Today I am here with my sweet new friend Ella. She's going to chat with us about being a state title holder and her prep for Miss Volunteer America. So Ella, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Ella Rauer. I'm currently Miss DC Volunteer 2025 as of last week. I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama, but I'm an Army brat, so I've lived quite a few places, but been in Alabama the longest. I'm a graduate of George Washington University. I majored in history and political science, and my history major, I concentrated in American Revolutionary history. That's my niche area. I love that era of history. And this is my first ever pageant, my first ever title. So I'm very excited and ready to chat more about it.
I love it. I love it. That's a great segue into our next question, which is how did you get interested in pageantry? So kind of talk us through, who or what got you interested and how it got you to Miss DC Volunteer.
So I grew up doing competitive dance. I think my first competition was, I think I was about 4 or 5. And the girls that do competitive dance will tell you that there's a huge crossover between dance and pageants. I don't really know why that is, but there's a huge crossover. So when I danced, I had a lot of friends on my team that were doing pageants, and I always thought to myself, that seems really cool. Like I would love to try that one day. But I think looking back, I probably had some self-image issues, and I just never really went for it. I didn't have a ton of time, and I was really focused on school, especially coming out of high school, and I just didn't. There was no opportunity really. But in my last year, I did the Cherry Blossom program here in DC, which is not necessarily. It's not a pageant, but it's more of a foreign affairs, like a women's it's hard to explain. And anyone in it will tell you it's a little bit hard to explain, but it's for women that are interested in foreign affairs and politics. And I met one of the former Miss DC volunteers in that within my class of the Cherry Blossom Princesses. And we talked a little bit about pageants. And I said, I'd always wanted to do pageants. And we talked a little bit more. I watched her compete in a different system, and I got to see her shine and got to see her work, her volunteer work with that system. And we talked more about her Miss DC volunteer experience. And I was hooked. I think I was like, you know what, this sounds like a great opportunity. And when is the next time I'm gonna have the opportunity to do this and really try for a title? Especially because I just finished law school applications recently, and that took up so much of my time.
Mhm.
And so I kind of jumped full force into it, and here I am. So it was very divine timing, and I feel very thankful to have the title now. So I'm really excited.
So exciting. So exciting. And you mentioned that your intro to pageants was kind of through your competition dance. And I'm assuming that's your talent. So kind of talk to us about, dance and how you got involved with that, and also about how you're going to go about selecting a piece for nationals.
Yes, so I am definitely going to dance. That kind of felt like a non-starter because it was my passion for so long, and it still is to this day. I still dance. I quit dancing junior year of high school, but in college I dabbled a little bit, and it just there's nothing like dance. There's nothing comparable to the joy that it brings me and the sense of expression. So it was a non-starter. I knew I was going to dance at Miss Volunteer America, and I have not officially selected what style of dance yet, or what song, because I love all of them, but I'm really leaning towards something contemporary, something modern, or something more jazz, upbeat. We'll have to see. It's coming around, but it's not finalized yet. But yes, I'm really excited, and I'm going to be choreographing it myself. So that should be exciting. I've always wanted to choreograph, so here's another opportunity.
There you go. I'm a dancer too. So I'm like, I totally get the do I go lyrical or do I go jazz? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
a
do that
hard
every
choice
year.
because both are so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, talent is just one phase of competition. So, kind of talk to us about what your favorite phase of competition is, and then a little bit about why that phase is your favorite.
So, like I said before, I'm inexperienced. I haven't done a real pageant really yet, but based on the preparation that I've done so far, I'm really excited for evening gown. I think that, I mean, who doesn't love wearing a beautiful gown, first of all? That's like getting dolled up and getting to wear a beautiful piece of art on stage. I think that's just awesome in itself. However, I also am really into learning how to walk and how to carry yourself with elegance and grace, chin high, chest, chest hard out, like we'd say in ballet. And I think that that's the preparation that I've put into that thus far. I've only been Miss DC volunteer for a week, but all of it combined, it almost feels like choreography in a way. And connecting back to dance, I think that just brings me a lot of joy, and I've really enjoyed it so far. So I'm really excited, and I'm also getting my evening gown this weekend. So that'll be even more exciting to have like an image in my head to be able to walk and be like, I'm gonna wear that amazing dress. And yeah, I think that's my evening gown is probably my favorite.
I love it. I love it. And kind of separate from the phases of competition, but still a major part as your role as a title holder is your serve initiative. So talk to us about what your serve initiative is, what you've been doing with it, and what your future plans are for it.
Right. So my serve initiative is called Operation Home Base, supporting military and veteran families. I am an Army brat. I come from a huge line of veterans dating all the way back to the American Revolution and very, very military heavy family. My entire life has been moving, deployments, being around high-ranking Army officers. That's my whole life. It's all I knew for a very long time. And then when I went to college and kind of removed myself from a very military heavy community, I started to realize how unique my upbringing was because I was around people that didn't have the same experiences as me, which is healthy and it's good, but it also makes you realize how unique your own upbringing is.
Mhm.
And I decided I wanted to do my serve initiative to support military families because I think there's a very unique subset of resources and support that these families need.
Mhm.
And only, just speaking from personal experience, I think really only military families themselves can understand those needs and advocate for them in a way that is responsive. So I want to dedicate my year as Miss DC to that. There's very, very specific, like I said, needs, and I can put myself into the shoes of a military brat, a current military brat. I am the daughter of a veteran. He's retired out of the Army, but I can see myself in young girls, young boys that are watching their parents go to war, dealing with a relocation, things of that nature that are very, very difficult. And I want to be an advocate for them. So I have there's four goals that I like to center on for my serve initiative, and I'm going to be talking about it a little bit more soon. But just a little sneak peek. Number one is I want to advocate for greater awareness of the struggles of military and veteran families because, like I said, not very well known, I think, in the public eye. Number two, I want to provide mentorship to other military brats because it's a lot to navigate. And I think having an experienced person, an adult on the other side that can help you is awesome. And I would have loved to have had that. Number three is to support local military and veteran families through volunteer work and fundraising initiatives. I think that speaks for itself.
Mhm.
And number four, lastly, to encourage community among members of military and veteran families because no one struggles alone. And I
Mhm.
think that there's really strength in community and speaking to others about your experiences and, you know, having each other's backs. So
Mhm.
those are kind of my goals and things are coming, things are building, but that's kind of the rough outline of what my serve initiative is going to be.
I love it. That sounds like a very clear plan, not a rough outline, by the way. Like, like I completely
Thank you.
understand having never had a family member in the military. So, yeah, you're killing it already, and you're clearly super passionate about it. So, love hearing you talk about it too. Um, and kind of going into our next question, the Serve Initiative is, kind of built around the mission statement of the Miss Volunteer America organization, which is, serve. So, I'm interested to hear which of, SERVE, which of those most resonates with you as a title holder.
I would say because I've never competed in a pageant before this, that the service part of it is the most important for me.
Mhm.
And it's what stood out to me, and it's what made me gravitate toward this system more than any other system. Because, the idea of a Miss Volunteer America, it's in the name.
Mhm.
You have the opportunity to represent your community and you're given that responsibility, I think it's so important to be responsive to the community's needs and to represent that on a national stage. And what better way to do that than to advocate for that community and its very specific wants. And so as Miss DC volunteer, I want to serve my community. And I think that Miss Volunteer America, the organization itself, offers a wonderful platform and encourages its title holders to do so. And more than I mean, like I said, newbie, but I think that their focus on it is so unique,
Mhm.
and I absolutely love it. And that's kind of what stood out to me the most, and that was a huge deciding factor. So that's what I love.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And obviously, your next pageant is going to be Miss Volunteer America, which I'm sure you're so excited for to step on that national stage. And I know you just got your title literally a week ago, but I'm sure you already kind of have ideas about, what you want to focus on in prep. You kind of mentioned it a little bit already, but I'm interested to know, kind of what your plan is for prep for nationals.
I it's been quite a bit. It's been a lot recently. It's a new world to me. But I've had a really great team behind me so far. Right now, I'm really focused on getting organized. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of things to prep, but I think my Google Calendar will agree. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, first of all. Secondly, I'm just trying to take care of myself. And I
Mhm.
think that's something that you need to be doing every day, obviously. But taking care of myself so I can present the best version of myself at Miss Volunteer America. So that's for me at least, that means exercising frequently, 4 to 5 times a week, trying new fitness classes, making it fun, eating whole, clean foods, taking care of my skin, taking care of my hair, the classic things that everyone should be doing. And I'm also doing a lot. I'm trying to get more. I used to be very, very flexible when I did competitive dance. And as a dancer, I'm sure you know, as we get older, we start to feel a little bit decrepit. Um,
Mhm.
and it's hard. It's a hard pill for me to swallow as I'm getting back into dance for this, and I'm realizing I'm not as flexible as I
Mhm.
used to be. Oh, I'm. We just have to pray because there's a lot of joy in getting to dance again, but not being in the same mode of flexibility and skill as you were when you were 15 is it's a lot. But that's another thing that I've been working on preparing, and of course, walking, making sure I can walk in my heels with elegance in class and kind of glide, and it's like a dance. It's been very fun, and I think that I'll come out of this with so many new skills, and I'll know myself so much more deeply. And I think hopefully I'll develop, a good sense of discipline because I'll be working towards this greater goal. So, and I've always been goal oriented. So I think that's kind of where I'm at the moment, and it'll only hopefully progress uphill from here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm interested to hear, for our last question, what piece of advice you have for a girl, wanting to start competing in pageants. You talked about like this is going to be your first pageant. You're brand new to this, atmosphere, this whole new world, you said. So kind of, just give a piece of advice to a girl who's like, I don't know if I should start, how do I start? What would be your piece of advice that you would give her?
I would say, at least this is what I did. I'm Christian. I prayed about it, and coming out of the LSAT and law school admissions, that you really get put through the ringer when you do that. And I knew that these next few months were going to be kind of boring compared to LSAT prep and law school admissions. But I prayed and I said, God, I want these next few months of my life to be productive and fruitful. I don't want to get bored, and I don't want to do nothing. And it felt like this was almost given to me in response and say, do with this what you've always wanted to do, which is to build a platform for military families. Deep in my heart, I've always wanted to do that, didn't really know how.
Hmm.
Here you go. I've also always wanted to do pageants. And so when you're given opportunities like this, I would say seize it.
Hmm.
Be responsible, of course, be measured and think about it, but seize any opportunity that is given to you because you never know when it's going to be presented to you again. And that was my whole thought going into this was, when's the next time I'm going to have time? I'm going to law school, I'm going to be an attorney at some point. I can't foresee, having a ton of time in the future. Do it now. Do it
Hmm.
now while you have time. Do it now while you're young and you have, all these. if you have support behind you, especially that helps.
Mhm.
So take the opportunity, seize it, make the absolute best out of it, and have fun. Don't let it stress you out. Have fun. And if it does stress you out, then, maybe think about it a little bit further. But pressure makes diamonds. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I
there
know
you
you
go.
said like this whole podcast that this is your first pageant, but to me it kind of sounds like you've been prepping for this your whole life with kind of, like your experience. So I just want to encourage you in that. And
Thank
um
you.
thank you so much for coming on and talking to us, Ella. You're so awesome, and it's so much fun to hear you talk about you and your title and all the awesome things that you want to do with it. And just know that we'll be rooting you on at nationals.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That's very sweet, very encouraging. So I really appreciate that.
Of course, and I'll see the rest of you guys on our next episode. Bye, y'all.